Since a large part of what you may do in Excel is format cells, format content, text, and numbers, we're going to continue talking about formatting options. The scientific notation formatting option, the text, and some special formatting options. So scientific notation. Scientific notation is something that will happen automatically when you enter a number that's 12 or more digits in length. And I'm going to do that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, Control Enter. And Excel automatically expresses this number in a form of scientific notation. Scientific notation displays a number with one decimal place to the left and then adds this suffix to the number e plus 11, which signifies that we would move the decimal place 11 places over to the right to get the actual number. If this was a fractional number, a number less than 0, you would be directed to move the decimal place some number of spaces over to the left. So I'm saying this is scientific notation, but it really isn't exactly scientific notation. And this is a nuance, but it is a difference, so let's just cover it. I'm going to enter the same number in this cell, Control Enter, and of course I get the same result. But if you notice, it still actually says it's in the general format. If I change this format to what is actual scientific notation, I get a different result. I only see two numbers to the right of the decimal place. So the default scientific notation is a little bit different than the scientific notation that you apply from the drop-down. But we can, of course, increase the number of decimal places and make those two numbers exactly the same. The next thing we're going to talk about is the text formatting option. I'm going to put a word in here, Control Enter. And right now the cell is formatted in the general format. That's the default format. We're well aware of that. If I convert this to text, it was text before, it was justified to the left of the cell. It's still text, it's still the word the. So why would you ever use the text format? Well, you would use it to display leading zeros to the left of a value of a number if we have an inventory number, identification number that's 0022, Control Enter. I can enter that value into the cell and those leading zeros are maintained, as opposed to entering 0022 in a cell with a general format where the leading zeros are just ignored and I get the number 22. Now the downside to this is the first cell that contains 0022 isn't a number anymore. So when I try to auto sum these two values, it doesn't even include it in the range because one of the three rules is that auto sum will stop at the first cell that contains text, which is exactly what it's doing. If I include that in there and force it to include that in the range, I get 22 because it's just adding the value that's in the range of those two cells. The other thing you have to be aware of, I'm going to delete this, is that if your cell is formatted as text, your formulas won't calculate. It'll just display the formula equal this cell plus this cell again, Control Enter, and it says equal D7 plus D7. So if you ever run into the circumstance where your formulas aren't calculating, check to see if whether the cell's formatting style is text. If I change the formatting style back to general, my cell still won't calculate. I can press F2 Enter, and then it'll calculate. So just be aware of when your cells are carrying the text format or not. Now there are ways to display a value, 0022, and to have the number displayed that way and stored as the number 22 with some custom formatting options that are similar in the way they function to the special formatting options we're going to talk about now. There's another movie on custom formatting options that will show you how to construct your own custom formatting. So the special formatting options. I've formatted this cell using the zip code special formatting option and launching the Format Cells dialog box from the number group. That category special is selected and the type zip code is selected because that's the formatting that's been applied to this cell. So you can see the other formatting choices we have, zip code +4, phone number and social security number, and I have formatted all of these cells in the same way that's labeled in column F. So that's zip code, this is zip code, that's zip code +4, and etc. So this is going to be an example where Excel will store the number as a value, but display it with leading zeros if there are leading zeros to display. I can press 00123, Control Enter, and you see in the formula bar, the number is 123, but it's displayed with leading zeros. The consequence of that is that you can actually do math on all of these options. Why you would do math on a zip code, I don't know, but just making the point that you can have a number displayed with leading zeros or other special characters and still have it stored as a value so that you can perform math on the content that's contained in those cells. And like I said, this will become more relevant when we talk about custom formatting. The other thing is I don't have to put leading zeros in the cell in order for Excel to display those leading zeros. 123, Control Enter. Excel will automatically fill those two vacant character spaces with leading zeros and again store the input as a number. So the zip code has another option. We can input 001239999, Control Enter, and I never entered the dash. It's part of the formatting to take a value, a number, display the leading zeros, even if there aren't any, and display the value with that dash before the last four digits. In fact, if I do put a dash in there, I get something entirely different. I get a text string. This is no longer a value. The formula bar shows the exact same content that's in the cell. So I'm going to take that dash out, Control Enter, and we get the result that we want. We have the content stored as a value, as a number, and displayed in the zip code +4 format. Phone numbers are the same way. We can have 7-digit numbers, Control Enter, and we can have 10-digit numbers, which would include the area code. Social Security number is the same way. And not that you would ever do this, but just to underscore the point that all of these are values, I can sum all of those numbers together. So the formatting is something that's completely distinct from the way that the content is stored. So that's formatting using scientific notation, text, and special formatting options. Scientific notation is something that will be applied by default if you have a number that's 12 or more digits long. The text formatting style is an option to display numbers with leading zeros, but you have to be careful because your formulas will be displayed as text as well. They won't calculate. And the special formatting options include zip codes, the zip code +4, phone numbers, including area codes, and social security numbers, where the content will be stored as a value and displayed using the selected formatting style.